Okay, folks, I decided I'd do a video on this because I got tired at another so-called person's channel on trying to educate people on why this is actually a good thing, being able to resell your digital games. And I will use the example of Total War Warhammer. It has a retail value with all its DLC of $295 US. I will not be buying that game. Okay? I don't have $300 I can throw out a window at any video game. Okay? All right? Some people do. Right? Some people have very good jobs and they're able to really enjoy the best hardware, the best everything, blah 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 blah. Right? Hey? Like that's cool. Okay? That's good on you, right? You're doing well. I'm glad. Not all of us are as well off. Anyhow, I've been well off. So at times I would buy some of that stuff too. But when I in the situation I am in, I'm not going to do that. Now it would be cool if I could go to my Steam account right now and sell half my games there. Even if I could get $50 for 20 of them, okay, I'd be happy. And it might make some young kid happy, it might make their parent happy, give the kids something to do, blah blah blah, and that'd be $50 I'd have in my wallet. And what would I do with that $50? I might go buy a brand new video game. And there's a sale that somebody has that they didn't have before. That's one example, okay? The other example is the guy that actually goes and gets the $300, spends it on that game, plays it for 6 months or 7 or 8, and then gets bored of it and goes and wants to get the next Total War game that's coming out, right? Well, he turns around and sells it for half price, so $150. The guy that buys that is having an enjoyment, right? He takes the 150. The next Total War game was about 100, and it probably has some DLC. It'll eat probably most of that, you know. It's because of the way they did Total War and they split it up and they had multiple DLCs for both games and all that other jazz that is so expensive, and the IP and etc. And so anyway, what happens here is the other guy is able to get that new game quicker, okay? And this is something that is not explained. And I sat there on this other individual's comment section, just listening to people parrot his BS. Okay, the guy supposedly not about a month or two ago came out saying he was an indie developer and they're making a game and they're gonna have it on Steam and then I realized as I look back all the anti Epic Store stuff that's come out of there, and the constant use of the word exclusivity when almost every game publisher has its own launcher. For Christ's sake, it's just stop it, okay? I mean you're sounding more and more like just crazy clickbaiters, okay? And here's the kicker, okay? I'm getting periods where YouTube is just not recording my watch time now, and I'm not doing anything illegal, wrong. I'm not swearing in my videos. I'm not, you know, etc. So, interesting. And I've seen other people saying weird things like that too. And you know, other people are now starting to leave YouTube. Okay, bigger guys are starting to say, "Well, we're just sick of it." Okay, and they better smarten up. Okay, because you know all the things I'm doing, guys, everything I do and enjoy doing, it's just sharing that I'm doing it, right? You know, and I like all of you, you know, and and this goes to even that indie developer who's wrong. He's got a lot of good ethics to him, but he just doesn't understand this aspect of the resales. He's bought into the propaganda and the brainwashing that comes with being removed from not being an indie developer. And that's the problem. You see the difference now between me and, say, an indie developer or a game developer? I'm not just a game developer. I'm an actual gamer. Okay? I always have been. Okay? And, you know, I can actually say, you know, Warner Brothers really wronged me. Okay? Up here in Canada. Well, okay, they give me 6 games. That's okay. I'll say that's probably what I can expect out of them and say thank you. You know, that's okay. right? I'd be running a 3D special effects business. I had government money that was going to come to me and set me up in the most perfect setup you could ever imagine. Okay, if you couldn't make money from it, you'd have been there'd be something wrong with you. Let's put it that way. The way this is set up. Okay, and anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But back to this. So there are other examples, right? Okay. So you have the person who can resell his own games, buy a new game, right? That puts money into the economy, right? Okay. And then you have the guy that had bought the big expensive game and then resells it. He now goes and buys a new title, okay? And what's this do? This puts money into people's hands. And if you're a small developer, one of the main things you got to realize is when you're doing a couple of sales, right? If your game only lasts, say, 40 hours, right? And it's okay. It's not the greatest game in the world, but someone enjoyed it, and then they want to move on to another game. They resell your game to somebody who then enjoys it and tells his friends. There's a good chance that you get a sale out of that. Okay, this is part of the word of mouth thing, right? Okay, there's a whole aspect to this that's not a bad thing, and Steam appealing it shows you that it's. You remember a time, if you're an older gamer like I am, where all the games you had to buy a disc, okay, and take it home and install it. And even when they came out with digital versions, you had to download the game and then install it, okay? And you had to play. There was no any of the online components of these games. You had to set up a server yourself and play with your friends, okay? That's why Doom was so successful. It's not about the game Doom. It's about that I could set up my own server with my own friends and do my own thing, okay? That's where we've lost all that, because these greedy people said, well, look, I can keep a portion of the game local to the servers at EA, let's say, and you have to then, buy this game, and you have to be online for it, and we have to put spyware and DRM on you, which affects, your hardware. I mean, when Sonic was proven, once they removed the DRM, to run 25% faster. That's all you need to know about what this is about. And this de novo stuff, I'm just going to say this, okay? They went and they changed how they were doing that because that one guy on YouTube here was posting videos and shit. And you don't do that, okay? You don't do that, okay? You don't do that. He screwed everybody by doing that, okay? And people that reported on it, you screwed people too, okay? But anyway, no, I'm not advocating for piracy either. I'm just saying that there's going to be people that don't have money that are going to go get games anyway, okay? I don't consider that a lost sale. I don't consider that piracy either because they don't have money, okay? And I don't have $300 to play a Total Warhammer game, but I'm really into the Warhammer. It would have been nice to have that game, and I'm sure many other people think the same way. And so what's happened is thousands of us are sitting here on YouTube watching this game going, geez, it's almost like rubbing it in our face how expensive it was, I stopped watching that shit because it's just because of that. It makes me feel like there's two classes of YouTubers, right? There's the rich people who just go around buying all the brand new games with all the best hardware, and they just play stuff. And we got screwed by Inquisitor Martyr exactly for that reason. This guy had all the top end hardware. Oh, it's a great game, everybody. So a bunch of us got sucked into going and getting it. And then they said, "Oh no, we'll fix it. We'll fix it in a month or two. We have to do this and do that." And so it goes past the 2 hours where you could refund a game on Steam, right? You know how many people are playing? And he came out later and apologized for how he was acting and saying things about lesser hardware. See, this is the thing. If you're going to review a video game, do it like ACG. He actually will tell you on older hardware runs not too bad. That's how, that's proper. Okay. and he buys all his games. Okay, so if he could resell a game to one of his patrons, or and that could be a thing that you could offer to your Patreons, right? Have a little raffle where one of your Patreon users or some supporter in that sense, right, could win a game, you know, or something. You just give it out to your subs, you know, whatever. It would be it's a way to drive traffic to YouTube too for content creators, because then I'm able to get rid of old games that I have, but I don't really play much anymore. Some other person who's never played it might like that. Like I saw it when they gave out the three Batman games. I downloaded one and I'm playing it and having some fun with it. I like it. It's kind of fun, you know. And the Lego games are a little bit hard to play because it really is a controller based game. I would need to get one of them things for a PC to put a controller on and do that, because the keys are all, oh my, yeah, it's a little different. I had that problem with the Lord of the Rings one too. But I got by that a bit and was having some fun at that. Like at the beginning of the movie where there's that big, huge battle with Sauron, right? You're in that battle. I mean, it's so fun, right? Anyway, you know, it's it's like they make good games and then they ruin it by getting greedy, you know. And this is the problem, and this is the thing. So these indie developers are all crying that, oh, this is going to be. No, what it does is it affects the asset flippers and the idiots that make 1,000, 2,000 bucks, and then they leave that game in early access, go to the next game, and make another one, and just keep sucking some money out of some suckers. Okay? Because when people start seeing games made by you, and they're all being resold up for resale, then people will know that you're not somebody I want a game from. That's another thing. It's quality control, boys and girls. This is where it ends. Okay, this is where capitalism takes charge and says, okay, you can't just keep overcharging us $300 for a Total Warhammer game. I'm sorry, that just woo-ah. But anyway, so Valve's gonna appeal it, of course. The thing is that the European court already ruled against Valve. The German one was a little different, but I don't see this as a bad thing, everybody. I really don't. I mean, I, I think we would all like to be playing some newer games. You know, if our PCs can handle them. Maybe instead of, I could resell all these games and get new hardware, and play some of the newer games that I have, but they won't play that well. And when you add OBS to them, like that Batman game, the Batman video I put up there, when I was playing it, no lag at all. In OBS, it looks like frame skipping a bit. So you got to tweak the software, right? Like I'm playing it at the supposed frame rate that it's telling me. Maybe it's doing, I don't know. Anyway, but I wanted to get this video out, so if people from that place are coming over here for an explanation, or they want, I'll just say, listen, go watch my video and stop watching his shit. Okay? His bias now is, this other guy's bias is 100% for Steam. It's obviously that he's doing some kind of indie development for the last 6 months. We've seen nothing of that game. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everybody that ever attacks me on the comment section there has under 5 subs. And the account was made within the last year. That tells you another one. Right? Okay? Now I stand up for the person who buys games. Okay? Alright? We are the ones. We're the ones with the power here. If we really want to, we showed EA that with Battlefront 2. Okay, and all it takes, you know, like this move by Valve is actually bad. It's bad. Why shouldn't I be allowed to resell some of my stuff to someone else? And Valve could set. And here's the kicker. I would actually say that one of the things that's missing in all this digital economy, right? Yeah, I go to the store, I buy a bag of chips, I get taxed on it. And I know that's people don't like taxes and things, but there should be some small little tax on things. And why not add a small 1% tax on resells? And you could put that money, okay, directly, take half of that 1% and put it into uh, helping kids with gambling and other issues regarding games. Okay? And then you got something that's a good thing, right? And Steam could set it up so that there's a section where you can sell your games, right? And they could put a $1 fee. Okay? All right. So I sell the game for $5, I get 4. All right. Steam's making money from people reselling the games. There you go. Because what are they going to do otherwise? They just sit there doing nothing. I mean, I got 30 or 40 games in Steam. I got one installed. And I'm not even playing it. You know, like, meh, meh. This is why I got into the Unreal Engine and game engines and 3D special effects and all this stuff and learning all this stuff because, you know what? It was really looking at one point there like these people were just going to run ramshot over all of us and I would have no entertainment. They screwed TV up. They screwed movies up. They've screwed the comic industry up. They screwed all the entertainment up they can, and now they're whittling away at gaming, right? And no, we put the foot down here in games and said no, that's it. And so here I am making this video when I didn't want to, but I was just shocked at how these people were parroting this guy, like how this is bad. Okay, it's like a group of indie developers from Steam are all on his page circling around him now. That's what I'm beginning to feel. And you know what? After I said today exactly what I said at the beginning of this video, not one person replied back. Not one. Not one. You know why? Because it's logic. It's logic. Okay? You can't fight logic, people. It's a real hard thing to do. Okay? Propaganda and everything else and brainwashing can't fight logic. It just doesn't work. Okay? When I can resell 5 games for $60 and buy a brand new video game, well, have a nice day. I mean, who's gonna say no to me buying their game? Because I got to resell some other games to people. Exactly. Exactly. The only people that do that, I don't even know. Okay, I'm shaking my head when I was seeing this crap today. I'm not even going to tell you where I saw it because I don't know if YouTube has rules about that and everything else. And I don't want people going over flaming people and getting upset at people either. I mean, you know. I've made it so that when you make comments on my pages that if you put an emoji in it, it holds the comment back, so I have to go and approve it. And YouTube did that to me automatically. I don't know why. Whatever. It just, you keep doing things, and I never asked for them. I had a verified symbol. Now I'm not verified apparently either. So I guess you got to have 100,000 subscribers and be a special little human being for them now. I mean, it's getting worse, not better here, people. I mean, they just keep coming, and every single person I've seen that's verified except for one, and let's say I've seen 50 of these little check marks, I checked that little thing, not interested, in 49 of them. And it's coming up in the recommended area there. Another pain in the butt is I unsubscribed to a few people over the course of months because of the way they are, the way they talk, their ethics, or whatever. Okay? Why YouTube keeps recommending these people to me it's beyond me. It's like they want to aggravate people. Or there's someone back there going, let's piss this guy off. Hit the button, move him over there, get him over there, and just stir it up, eh? I'm like, I gotta be subscribed to some of these people to keep an eye on what kind of craziness is coming out of their brain cells. Like who like, wouldn't it be nice if somebody who had spent that $300 on Total War resold the game to a disabled kid for say $100? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So what the and I'm not going to say the words I said on that comment section. I'm probably going to get some trouble over that eventually, but uh, it wasn't directed specifically at people. It's just me getting really angry about stuff like that. Okay? Nah. Not everybody's disabled, but not everybody's rich either and can afford $300 to throw on a video game either. Now, apparently subscriptions aren't part of this, but that's part of the how they control the video game. Make it a subscription only video game. Oh, well, yeah. Then you got to pay a monthly. You can't resell that because the monthly is the same. You still got to pay the monthly. Nice scam, isn't it? Now, mind you, if they're updating the game and the game world and the items and the content continually, then fine. But I don't see, for the amount of work it takes to do things that I know of, I don't see any of the AAA, AA companies doing enough to warrant, you know, what the cost of their DLC is for the number of sales that they usually get, or a subscription that people are paying when there's 500,000 or 1,000,000 or 10 million or whatever million people. It's just money going into the pockets of these CEOs and everything else, and it's just, well, like what happens if CD Projekt Red's Cyber 2077 is mediocre? A lot of people play it and they go, oh, it's not too bad. It's not terrible, but, it's not my kind of game. What if you buy a game and you play it a little while past when you could get refunded, and it's just not your type of game? Then you can, this is another aspect. Then I can resell the game to somebody who might want to actually play it and enjoy it, right? Like, there's all kinds of reasons for reselling, okay? Like, think about it. How many kids under 16 to 18 get a brand new car? Not that many. They usually get like a resold, like a used car, right? And nothing wrong with the car. Car runs great. Everything's running fine, I got my first car was a Chevette. Ran great for 5 years. Didn't even need any parts on it at all. All I had to do was the yearly oil change and stuff like that. So just basic maintenance, right? You have to do that on every car though, if you want to keep it going good. That's the thing, right? Another funny thing I was seeing was Windows 10 guy, former Windows employee talking about Windows 10. Oh, it's funny listening to him. He was the guy that broke how to get rid of all the telemetry and stuff like that. And like, I'm sorry, buddy. I got enough to do. I'm not ripping all that crap out of my operating system just to make it Windows 7 again. What's going to happen is you're gonna get eventually people like myself with a second PC that's running Linux on the back end, and then at the front here out in the computer land where I'm playing some video games, it'll be Windows 7, and until it just blows up one day, or whatever, right? they're going to learn. They're learning the hard way on that one because there are more Windows 7 users than Windows 10, and it's not changing. That's why they actually added 3 more years to the enterprise. Businesses are really freaked on this telemetry stuff. Even if you can get an enterprise edition and they tell you, oh, we don't have any of that in here. Oh, sure, I believe you. uh, my oh my. Yep, yep, yep. Anyway, I thought I'd put this video up. I don't know. But there's other news that came out too. What was the other thing here? It looks like France is. When was this? What's the date on this? It doesn't say. That's back in July. So a couple months back, France has passed a law about taxing things. Hey, I why not? I mean, if people if they're going to throw all these whales are going to throw money, right, at all this loot boxes and everything else, why shouldn't governments start recouping some of that money that's leaving the economy and going to people that have so much money that they never get to spend it all? Why not bring some of that back to reality and fund schools and education and whatever? I mean, you're fighting the wrong thing when you fight against stuff like that. And yeah, the problem is that we don't want it to be like a 15 million% tax on our video games and things. It would be nice, but when if they're looking at having to make a program for kids that are affected by their games, well, it's going to cost money, and taxpayers are already going, okay, well, we tax the game, and then when they go to buy the loot box, there's a tax on it, and then, if person A gets screwed up somehow and goes into a program, it's got funding now. I mean, it's just, once again, this is logic, okay? This is why sometimes there are some fights worth fighting about, and there are some that you're not going to win, and so therefore you got to look at mitigation of your losses. Okay, it's tactical. Okay, that's why I play tactical video games. Keeps the old brain cells a little sharp now and then. Running around with a little gun in your hand, just going bang 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 bang. Okay, it's fun. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. But it don't take much in the way of brain cells to be shooting guns. No offense to anybody. I got a lot of friends that play first-person shooters and stuff like that, and they're blast. It's a lot of fun when you're with friends, right? But if you got to think, you want to think in game, right? There is some tactics to some of these games. It's just rare. They don't put that in there into the games because the majority of people don't want to be thinking when they play these games. It's not Einstein that needs to be playing Doom or something. Anyway, we'll see how this goes on YouTube, considering that in the last 2 days they stopped over 12 hours of recording my watch time on stuff. I had somebody test this out and sit there and in another room of this building watching some of my stuff, and yet it didn't record the watch time. So something's going on here. And it had lots of other views and lots of other watch time at other times. So I don't know what YouTube is doing lately, but it seems to be suppressing certain people with views. And I guess I'm one of them, right? Well, I speak my mind, and that's never going to change, okay? Right? Just remember, man, back in the 90s, I was over 20% of the entire world's internet traffic, and I got to speak my mind. There's a lot of people out there my age with my kind of mentality, right? Yeah. And then we had kids. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We need to have more kids. That's what the problem is. We need to each have 15 kids. We've got to take over this planet and make it right. Anyway, guys, I'll let you go. I don't know. Play some more Batman offline, I guess. It doesn't OBS well. It's fun as beans though, the combat in that, and I like I see now what the controller people talk about, how there's assisted shooting. When I go to use the batarang or whatever you call it, I'll go to aim at something, and then the reticle, the little round reticle, just slips right over onto it. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fun too. I mean, it makes the game like you can make yourself a little movie out of it, eh? It's kind of like, you know. However, there's less skill involved in that. I like playing some stuff for skill. In Guild Wars 2, you can actually take that feature off, and then it actually is something. If you train with, you can actually get good at the game, as they say. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Have a good one.